Sure, maybe you're not. Maybe you don't know what you want to drink, but
have
don't
water.
be all surprised
Yeah.
that someone asked you what you wanted to
drink.
drink. Turn it over to the drink side right away. You should. What are you even looking at food for? I'm gonna ask you for drinks
Honestly,
first.
they're not even looking at the food first. They're talking. The menu happen to be the same way you put it down.
You're right about that. You're right about that. It's just weird when they act surprised that you come over asking them some questions.
No, you're right.
That's the first thing. Hi, welcome to the Modern Waiter Podcast. I'm Marlon Joseph, the Modern Waiter, where we discuss all things restaurant business. Learn something, laugh at something. On today's episode, we are exploring time. Yes, time means different things to different people.
For sure.
Also in different places. We're going to break down the instances in the restaurant where time is referenced and save you the headache by translating what it really means. Join us while we reset expectations of time. But first, the intro.
Tired of working deadbeat jobs for lame pay. I'm tired of getting fired and hired the same day. If you know the rules of the game, then you'll stay. And if you don't...
As usual, I'm joined by my good friend Danny DeVilla.
What's up, people?
Before we start, firstly, I'd like to thank everyone joining us. We get new joiners every day.
Yeah, man. That's right.
So
the people out there.
Yeah, the people out there. If you do enjoy our show, subscribe, follow, like, all that good stuff. It really helps other people find the content that you apparently enjoy.
Yeah.
So that's good. Now let's get into it.
Talk to me.
The genesis of the show. I had an incomplete party.
Okay.
It was last week, and I think it was like a 5 or a 6 top. There was a 5 top. 3 of them were waiting, and then another one showed up, and then I gave them enough time, but I knew it was an earlier party.
Yeah.
I knew that if I didn't know what was going on and they didn't yet started, I would get my rest of my parties, my rest of my section sat.
Yeah.
And then they're going to feel
Completely left out.
completely left out because I'm going to be busy, but then you've been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? So I go up to the lady and I said, do you know when you're expecting the remainder of your party? She said, she's going to be here in 5 minutes. I roll.
30.
You know, I mean, it wasn't 5 minutes.
It's never 5.
And so I started to wonder.
If it is 5, you start clapping.
If it's 5, I mean, how many times have that happened?
It doesn't.
It doesn't happen.
It's happened maybe once or twice in my long journey that we've been through.
I mean, I've had them say, they're in the parking lot. Oh, they're parking right now. And nothing.
Where they parking at?
Where are they parking
Where are
at?
they parking at?
And so it really struck me, and I really wanted to talk about it because time means different things to different people.
Yeah.
And so apparently it's all about different cultures.
Absolutely.
Their interpretation of time is completely different. And so we in the restaurant business, we have our own time.
For sure.
We have our own time.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But in the immediacy, we deal with, especially down here, we deal with a lot of different cultures.
Cultures, absolutely.
And so they bring their sensibility when they're making a reservation or someone else is making the reservation and they have to show up.
Yeah.
What is going on? And so, and as I'm doing research, I'm starting to put people into the different categories and I say, oh my gosh. It would have helped me to understand the cultural depth of it, because I'm a bitch about time. I really am, because I don't want to waste my time.
Yes.
But it's not personal. It's just the way that the construct of their life is. And so with let's say there's 2 different types of time constructs when it comes to cultures. There is the linear time, which I believe they call that sequential time. Time goes linearly, there's a past, and then there's a future. The present's right in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's what most Americans, most Germans and things like that. So Germans and Swiss are very precise when it comes to time. If they're going to have a reservation, they're going to be on time, if not early. They're going to have everything planned out to the T as far as getting there on time.
Yeah.
And so if the more variables, they're going to end up being a little like earlier.
Yeah.
And so they have the construct of linear time, of sequential time. The Japanese as well. Not only are they going to be on time, they're going to want to know how long they're going to be. They're going to time frame it.
Yeah, how long they're going to be in the building. Yeah.
Yes. And they're going to be there, and then they're going to end it. Like, let's say a meeting, or they're going to have that block of time.
Yeah.
They're going to be on time in, on time out.
They look like a schedule on iPhone, and you know how you have the calendar? It looks like that for them.
Yes, without a doubt. And so it's so strict in time. Their train system very rarely is even a minute late. So if you're late to work and use the subway system as an excuse, your bosses will never believe you in Japan, because that is
It's on time. Yeah.
on time. So it's so interesting. So there's also another way of thinking of time. It's called synchronic. Synchronic time. It's nonlinear. It's loopy, if you will, right? The past, present, and the future. There's no precious time. Time is not
Island
precious
time
to them. Yeah, man. I mean, so let's rank these three, and let me see if you can guess.
Yeah.
Which culture is the worst on time, according to my research.
Okay.
Okay. You have Indian. You have African.
Okay.
And you have Spanish.
Spanish like from Spain or Spanish from like Latin America?
It's all deadly, baby. It's all the same.
Well-
They got the same grandparents. They have the same grandparents. So who from least being 3 to the worst being 1 of
it's
those 3?
Indian, African, Spanish.
Okay. Wrong.
Oh, am I really?
The absolute worst, Indian.
Really?
Yes.
On time?
On time. They ain't on time.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
I would figure they would be on time because they're very. We had said UK, and a lot of they've had a lot of their stuff there is, at least the ones that speak English are very UK sounding and very in that culture. So I thought immediately that they would be the first. That they would be the most.
To them, time is nebulous. It's like, I'll be there when I get there.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
I couldn't.
Can you imagine a culture worse than Spanish? That's what I'm fascinated about. I mean, there's the island time. There's, of course, Africa and islands is kind of that same lineage. But holy crap.
So is Africa in the middle? Or is it the third?
African, it's African, Spanish, and then Indian. Yeah. Crazy. So then now but you start to get the idea of if you have, so let's have some structure to this.
Yeah.
I want to go through cultural time and then talk about restaurant culture time.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and that's the way we're going to round out the show. So let's say that you have a reservation, okay? For the most part, Germans, like I mentioned, Germans, Swiss, they're going to be precise. They're going to be on time, if not early.
Yeah.
The Japanese, very punctual as well. Thailand, they're going to be early. They're going to avoid being late, so they're going to be early. They're going to push it back the other way. And I was surprised about that. I also was surprised to know that China.
Early?
No.
Late?
I'm not saying early or late, but the concept.
Like right on time?
Nah, buddy.
A little off.
It's a little off. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you imagine?
So they're the 5-minute grace period.
I was very surprised.
Me too.
Also, Americans, like strict Americans, go ahead.
I think we're like the 5-minute grace period as well, kind of like the Chinese.
But we're the 5 minutes beforehand.
Okay.
So classic Americans are going to be early is on time.
Okay, yeah.
Right? The issue with Americans is that a lot of people are going to fly the flag of America, but they're going to keep the cultural.
Exactly.
Yes. So they bring their cultural bad habits. So it's really hard to categorize Americans because it's such a melting pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all American, but being on time
ain't for all of us.
ain't for all of us. Okay? Because like black people are American, that kind of thing, and
There's Latin
they ain't
American.
known for their timeliness.
Yes.
And
I'm really shocked on the Indian one though.
it perplexed me too, because I didn't want to research with any bias.
Yeah.
And so I was like, and it was more than one instance that referenced that, and so in business, I had a run-in with that. Scheduled meetings several times, and last minute, in fact, even past the time that it was supposed to be, and it was rescheduled.
Oh wow.
Bananas. It blew my mind. Yeah, I was very upset. And so I said to a friend of mine, I said, after it happened twice, and we wrote a strong, message, and I said, I wonder if it's a cultural thing. And I didn't do it to the point of researching, otherwise I would have known before today, but it is a cultural thing, and for me, it was rude to cancel so close to the deadline or postpone so close to the deadline or whatever the case may be. But apparently it's not uncommon.
It's not unheard of for them?
For 3 hours late and things like that.
That's craziness.
That's craziness. I was shocked, man.
That is shocking.
Can you? I wonder. What the airlines are like.
Yeah.
Got to do that research. And so yes, Americans, UK, Germans, Spanish. I mean, not Spanish. Swiss, all sequential time.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go into the non-sequential or the synchronic time, where you have Africa, Spanish, Chinese, which is very shocking, and their passage of time is a little bit different. The past, present, and future are linked, so they don't consider it rare to have time, have passed.
Yeah.
There's always time.
There's always time in their mind.
And so culturally, that's strange to me.
That is.
Because I know philosophically you live in the present and all that stuff. Maybe that's where it comes from.
I mean, that makes sense, but does it?
I agree with you. And so that's where you see the frustration when it comes to being in the restaurant and having to deal with people's concept of time. Because I honestly and foolishly thought that time is time.
Time is time. Time is math. Okay. Once it's gone, you ain't getting it back.
Yeah, but also how you're taught, brought up, and feel, like obviously it's a thing.
It is. I mean, it is.
Right?
People are gonna be more loose with it than anything else. But in the end, still, a time is a time. You tell somebody a time, it is what it is. Now it depends. On their culture or whatever. And we're gonna go to the restaurant base of it.
Yes.
If you tell me a time and I write it down in the book, you got to be on this time, this linear timeline that's in my book, because it's a business compared to your timeline. Now, then if that's the case, then as a culture, then they should probably think, hey, when I say this to my friends, maybe I should make my reservation for 7:30 instead of 7. If I'm already know I'm gonna be late.
Yeah, but then it's okay. That works with the least amount of people that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with one person,
if you're dealing with different cultures, you're gonna throw everything off balance.
there's the problem.
Yes.
Okay, there's the problem. So how do you retrain culture?
You can't.
And so time as well as language is really different, apparently.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because when somebody says that, the lamp broke, you'd be like, what do you mean the lamp broke? You broke the lamp. So there's a difference between, ownership and things like that.
Absolutely.
That's really different, but that's different. And now as we transition into restaurant having their own time, we quote time differently, and we experience time differently because we're busy. And when we're busy, we don't experience the same time as the guests do.
Who's sitting.
Yes.
Because their time is, even if we're on real time, their time to them is more, they notice the time. I think we've talked about that plenty of
True,
times.
true.
Where the guests where they'll quote a time to us, it's been 20 minutes and it's
Yes,
been 5.
yes.
You know what I mean? But in the same extent, on the other end, we might quote, your food about in 2 minutes and it'll be 7. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So the passage of time is going to be much slower.
Yeah.
For the guest who's just sitting there with seemingly nothing to do, but notice every plate that goes
comes
by
out
that's
around
not
them,
their
absolutely.
food, or everybody else that gets sat around them.
them.
And so let's start. When the host tells you, and quotes you a time of, oh, your table will be ready in 10 to 15 minutes, they have just set an expectation. So not only how you interpret time is an issue, they have set the expectation. So in 10 to 15 minutes,
You're looking at your watch.
Yes.
You're like, yo, were they here before me? Were they here after me? How did they get set?
Yes. And every minute after 15 minutes, it's like 10.
Yes.
And so that's when you get upset, especially if you're freaking hangry.
yeah.
And so you go up there and because the expectation was set. And you also don't want to overblow.
True.
the
You
quote.
don't want to go crazy with it either.
Yeah, because then they'll walk away. They're like, I'm not waiting a half hour.
Yeah.
And so for those of you who are not in the restaurant industry, when you get quoted a time, that's a guess.
Yes.
They don't know how long people are going to sit.
Because you can't judge that person who's already sitting. Yes, they might be on dessert. They might have just paid their check. That doesn't mean they're not going to run their mouth. Okay, They could be sitting there running their mouth, or waiting for a cab, or waiting for this, or waiting for that, or waiting for somebody to go to the bathroom, or doing. There's multiple things that could be keeping these people there.
Yes.
And that's what we have to take it to effect. Yes, if we see a table, we're going to coach you. Okay, we have 3 tables about to get up. They all paid their check. 2 might get up. The 3 people they were expecting, so the 3rd table might sit another 20, 30 minutes, and that threw your wait time off and you might be that one guest that saw the other 2 people right in front of you or right at the same time as you walk in, get set and be sitting for 5 minutes, and that is exactly why it happened.
There are a number of reasons why, and they're all out of our control.
Absolutely.
Because if you think about it, how would you feel if you're sitting down and your waiter's rushing you out because they got to sit? You're going to be like, screw them.
Exactly.
But then you're on the other side in this cosmic world waiting for a table and wishing that they would get shooed out of there.
Absolutely.
So it's really a hard thing.
It is hard because it's definitely, I've been to the situation where, people are like, oh, we have the table. I go, what do you want me to do, kick them out? I can't just kick people out. Okay,
Yes.
I have to give them. They're already sitting.
And you invested 45 minutes to an hour with these people.
I've already gave them my time.
Yes. You're going to piss them off right at the end? Oh, right at tip time?
Yeah, that's not how it's working for me.
No. Go away.
Yeah.
Not my problem.
Not my problem.
And I wonder why we quote time when we have no idea what it's going to be. What we do know is where you are on the list.
True.
So why not say you're 10th?
Yeah, that's perfect.
You
Because
know?
that's what I tell people when I go out to a table, when they're asking me about their food. I said, well, you're the next ticket, or you're 2 tickets away.
Yes.
I'm not giving you an exact time, but I am seeing that when I went in the kitchen, you're the next one up.
Okay, so I have a bone to pick with my food runners. When I go and I see the tickets, and then they're selling other tickets.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
With my food.
Yeah, and that drives me crazy.
It drives me crazy.
Like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just waiting on one thing on this ticket, man. You gotta wait.
You gotta wait.
Now you just push that whole process
Exactly. And that happens a lot.
That happens, yeah.
And you can't tell the kitchen anything.
No, well, and it's not your job to tell the kitchen, but the food runner should know, or your expo should be in charge of that if you have one.
They have to be strong enough to say, this is what I'm working on.
Absolutely.
And they panic and they look and they play ready ball and they just start assembling stuff while the pieces are falling
I have
apart on
managers do
another
that too.
ticket.
They'll come in and be like, oh, and they'll be like, well, this is ready. Like, no, that's not ready. That's
not
going
ready.
with this.
No.
Okay, that burger that you're trying to grab is still on the grill.
Don't look at it.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
look at
invisible right
yes. now. You should be working on the first
Yes.
working on all of them, but you have to make that timing go, because then once you fall off on that, it cascades
to everybody.
You're waiting on this food is going to die, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's really, to me, it shouldn't even happen that way, but that's a whole other thing.
That is a whole other thing.
Now,
that's a whole different
quoting,
show.
It's almost like when you go to the DMV, okay? You don't get quoted time.
No, you get quoted a number. You get
You
a
get
number.
quoted
you get
a number.
Your number will get called when it's called.
For me, in the restaurant, you should be quoted a number.
Yeah.
And that would alleviate the time that people are bound by saying, you said our table's going to be ready in 20 minutes. It's been 35. Meanwhile, it's 17.
Yeah.
Because I get it, but that's the thing. It's like, get away from that.
Yeah, if you were just
thing.
a number, you'd be good.
You would be good because then all you have to do is count the amount of people that leave the door.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm just like what you do in DMV. Okay, I'm about to come up soon.
Yes.
Yeah, you know when your number's about to be called. You're like, oh, yeah, you don't go nowhere when you're 65 and they're on 63.
You don't ever go to the bathroom.
Yo, you look at that clock like it's your job.
Exactly. You look at that counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's the whole point. So that's really tough. And then the guests sit down and then they tell a different story because time has passed. They say, oh, I've been waiting, for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Or our food took
XYZ.
XYZ. And we get that. It's they're frustrated. They're emotional. Yes.
They're hangry.
How do you deal with that initial?
The initial hangry?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on the situation. Mm-hmm. If they're initially hangry, I offer them something that's quick. Like,
Okay.
hey, do you want to get this really fast appetizer or something? Maybe a shrimp cocktail, something that I know if I need to jump in there, I can go grab it myself and it won't take any time.
Nice.
You know what I mean? This way I'm not impeding with the kitchen. I'm not waiting on them if they have a long thing or if they have something going on. I know I can go help myself, or a bowl of soup or something that is accessible for us and is easy to get to. Something
is Mo bread. Because nothing's fast in our restaurant.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a you need to sit down and relax. I don't care that you didn't eat. I care, but I don't. You know what I mean? It's like to rush things means that something else.
When
is
my
being
biggest people
neglected.
are in a rush is at lunch, and that's when there is no bread. So that's when I have to do something like what I just said.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Whereas at dinner, yes, at dinner service we have bread, but it's a whole different you're coming. It should be a whole different vibe anyways.
But then, do you have a long wait for lunch?
No, there's no long wait. But people they came from work hangry, okay, and they're already moving at that
Yeah,
speed.
but you just gotta wait.
They gotta
That's
wait.
it. You just
They
gotta
gotta wait.
I'm talking dinner. You know what I mean? It's
But what happens sometimes there might be a wait at lunch every
Okay.
once in a while. Not on the normal weekday grind. It's usually pretty good. But on the weekend, we live in South Florida. It's very chill, and I work by the beach. So
especially if there's something going on.
if there's an
holiday
event
or something
exactly,
like that, it can get crazy.
You get to
down
wait.
there.
It's beautiful outside. People want to, instead of sitting on the beach, they need something. They want to do something.
Yeah.
They want to look at the beach, but they don't want to be on the beach at that time. They hungry.
Oh, when they all come off at once.
Exactly. And you know exactly how that feeling is.
Oh yeah. I used to miss that because that was the time to make that money.
Yes.
It was kind of slow, but you got to keep your morale up because they're coming.
There's always that one, yeah.
You kind of want to get off. You want to go home.
Yeah, it's right. It's almost pretty right, but it's about an hour before you're supposed to go home anyways.
Yes.
And that's when you're like, are they going to come?
Always.
They're not going to come? They're good. Oh, they're here now.
Now, what about when you approach a table and they say, "Oh, we're going to need another minute."
They get 4, 5.
It depends. Well, yeah, they definitely get 4 or 5 minutes after that. But what do you think they mean by that? We're going to need another minute. Obviously, it's not literal.
No, I mean it means they haven't even opened their menu yet.
If they haven't opened them in, if they're waiting for one person, that person needs to be pressured.
Oh, true. Like you mean like somebody that's looking at the menu?
If everybody else ordered, then they go, I'm gonna need another minute.
Oh no, yeah,
That person's always been talking.
I'm gone. I'm doing a full lap. Okay.
I'm doing everything.
I'm doing everything else, and
Yeah.
then I'm coming back, and then I look at that person and like, I look at that person. If they see, are you ready? You give them the,
Yeah.
And then I look at the rest of the table like, if he's not ready, y'all need to make him ready.
Or if I tell you take all the time you want, don't. Because that means I am done with you.
Oh, yes.
I am done with you.
I don't mind giving people time. I'm not, especially like when I work a double. And when I work my doubles, I'm not worried about that time, but I'm going to go do my other stuff.
Yes.
So now you're on my time. You take your time, but remember you're on my time. So when it's time, don't be needy or don't be rushing me because you took your time. That is where I have no problem giving you time. But my issue is don't try to steal my time when it wants to be on your time.
Understood. Most of the instances, we're not rushing you in the beginning. We've given you the specials.
Yeah.
We walked away. We gave you.
We got some drinks. Got some water. Whatever needs at the table.
Yes. So we generally know the timing. So we're not rushing you.
No.
What I'm describing is you're with your peeps, right? And then you proceed to talk.
Yes.
Which is fine. But you're in a restaurant. Someone's going to come over and ask you what you want to drink.
Absolutely.
And you lose your mind like it's your first day and you go, oh, and then you flip the menu over to the drinks. Come on now. First thing you should do when you sit down.
It's kind of figure out what you want to drink and then you start the conversation.
Yes. Stop it short. You have all the whole hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever.
Or what you drink naturally. Why don't you start with that? Okay, because everybody has something that they drink.
Pretend you've been somewhere.
Yeah, that they know that they drink that they like. Just order that. And then if you want to experiment after, you experiment after.
Sure. Maybe you're not. Maybe you don't know what you want to drink. But
I'll
don't be all surprised that someone asked you what you wanted to drink. Turn it over to the drink side right away. You should. What are you even looking at food for? I'm gonna ask you for drinks
Honestly,
first.
they're not even looking at the food first. They're talking. The menu happen to be the same way you put it down.
You're right about that. You're right about that. It's just weird when they act surprised that you come over asking them some questions.
No, you're right.
That's the first thing. And then the second thing, fine, you don't know what you want. But then you didn't look, and you come back and you go, I haven't looked. That's where I go, take your time.
Now you have that time.
Now you're going to be thirsty and starving because you ain't seen me for a while. Because you know why? I'm not going to rush you, but I'm going to make money somewhere else.
Absolutely.
I'm out.
That is the key.
You came to a restaurant to not get restaurant stuff? That don't make no sense.
They came to talk.
Go to DMV and be like, oh, I'm not ready.
Oh, then you waiting tomorrow.
Exactly. Do some stuff. Because
you could be ready at DMV and maybe miss a piece of paperwork. You still waiting.
Oh, man.
In other words,
it hurts.
It hurts.
You think I overbring stuff.
Yeah, you're like, wait.
Here's my yearbook picture.
Do I have everything?
I check and I double check.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to wait because they don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
You ain't got this. Goodbye.
No, make another appointment.
Next.
And you're like, ooh,
next.
I'm expired.
Go get back in that line. Go get back and be another number.
Woo. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like when you go to, a sandwich shop, be ready.
Yeah.
Don't go, I don't know. Oh, boy.
That's the worst.
Move aside.
Yeah.
Move
Let somebody else
aside.
go ahead of you. It's not that hard.
They make it hard.
They do.
Unbelievable. Now, what do you think about early reservations? Like this, the 5:30, 6 o'clock reservations.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. It's either old people.
Oh, every time.
Or cheap people.
Both.
They're banging out the happy hour. Old.
And which I'm not mad at the old people because once you're retired, you're on a set budget. You got to live the rest of your life with a certain amount of money.
True.
So, with that mentality in my mind, I respect them on their early bird special, and they like to be in bed by 8 o'clock.
Yo, I need that first turn.
Yeah, I love it.
I hear people complain that they didn't get dessert or this and that. Why are you complaining?
They're
here.
Yeah.
They're here. When we would not have anybody.
Yeah, I love it.
I embrace that first turn. Keep it light, no problem.
I'll take those earlier tables. Yeah. Who cares? You got a pasta and some. Yeah.
Share it.
I have butts in the seat. Okay.
That's all that matters.
That was my tip out right there. I'm good to go.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
They're here.
They're here.
That's it. To me, it's better than that 9:30 reservation.
When you're trying to go.
When you get that 9:30 reservation, it's nothing but people waiting for other people.
That's the worst. And then your party don't really get. Then you're not even starting food until 10, and then you're already mad at the world. And that's when you hit them with the rush. Like you're saying, my kitchen's about to close, or lunch is about to end, or you have to sit, and then you're rushing like, hey, because you didn't plan accordingly as a guest. Exactly. Now you're being rushed. Why would you make a reservation? And your spot closes at 10. So why would you make a 9:30 reservation when you know this spot closes at 10? That means when you
because
sit
they're from
down,
Spain, baby.
When you sit down, when your party shows up, if you're lucky by 9:45, okay, you have to be rushed.
Yo, the closer to closing, the more on point you need to be.
Every time.
It's not like sliding under the door like you made it. Okay, now I could spread out. I'll let you know.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works, but they think that's the way it works.
No, just because you made it in the door, don't mean you can hang out. You go to Target, you go to Publix, you go to whatever your supermarket is.
Or the bank.
The bank. You hear, and the bank's not going to say, but what I'm talking about is like the loudspeaker. You know when you're in like a store that you're shopping at, okay, and let's say you go to 9:45, they close 10. The store, when you walked in that store at 9:45, the store will be closing in 15 minutes.
Come to the front.
Please start to wrap up your stuff and come on. And you'll hear that throughout. You'll hear the 10-minute buzzer. You'll hear the 5-minute buzzer.
Yeah.
We are closing in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Please start heading to the cash register.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock, we are closed. So you need to think just like they're thinking, because my kitchen is thinking that way.
Yeah.
Okay. For the people out there who don't understand, who were just initiated, the kitchen is on that same schedule that I was just talking
They're
about.
not trying to be here a minute later.
Well, and they're here a minute later, but they're not here to cook. At 10 o'clock or whenever your restaurant, whatever that time they said they're closed, they've either already started cleaning or they're in the process to set up to clean, because when that buzzer hits, they're not even looking at a ticket after 10:01. Now, maybe, yes, the dessert person, somebody like that who has, but and that same person who's in that pantry who's cleaning is cleaning everything else but the dessert stuff. They're setting up, all that salad stuff is gone.
Yeah.
All this and that is gone. All the other stuff that was on there, except for the little thing that might come in 5 or 10 minutes, is gone. They're putting all that other stuff away so they can get ready for their night.
True.
Like you don't want to be at work late, these hourly people in my kitchen don't want to be waiting for you to eat.
100%. Well said. And speaking of the kitchen, when you ask the kitchen, how long on the sea bass, and they tell you 2 minutes?
It's 5, if you're lucky.
5 if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
When Oscar used to tell me 2 minutes, I used to say 2 Jamaican.
I don't even ask that question, Margo. Like, can I see it? Is it down? Please just tell me.
Because then you know if it's down, you know the maximum amount of time it's going to take.
Exactly. As long as I know it's down, I'm okay. You know how
That's a good way of looking at it.
If you know the food is down, unless you walk in the kitchen, you see a well done burger that hasn't been flipped yet, then you're terrified. Okay, like how you walk in, you look at the grill and
but you could press that.
Yeah, but that's still a fresh patty. You're waiting at least another 10 minutes.
Oh, fresh patty?
Yeah, like it's on the grill, but it's fresh.
Fresh patty. If you see the pink on the upside,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're done.
Terrified.
You're done.
Now, if it's flipped, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So, but that's just the burger. But everything else, yes. If it's down, you're pretty okay.
I see you. I mean, once I hear 2 minutes, I'm like, at least they acknowledge me.
Yes, exactly. I'll give you a quick story before we wrap up this show. Just recently in the kitchen, I go in the kitchen, they ran my food. Mm-hmm. There's one dish waiting. And you go, hey, where's this dish? And the manager calls out for the dish. And the guy goes 4 minutes. The cook goes 4 minutes. I look at them and I'm like, y'all are killing me right now. I know what that 4 minutes is, okay? And you dropped, and this is an 8 top. You dropped all this food. You could have waited. I'd rather you wait, let it all come out in 10 minutes than make one person wait that 4 to 10 minutes that we're talking about.
It ain't 4.
It ain't 4.
And even if it's 4, try sitting down
with people around you eating. Because then there's always that one person, whether it be a big party or small, I'm gonna wait for you to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now that person's food's getting cold at the table sitting there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes it even worse. It's better just to bring it all out, let us in the window. It's better to come up with a plan at the table where there's nothing on the table than having one dish missing.
I know. And it's tough because I know why
it
sometimes
happens.
Foods get sent out incomplete, because you would rather end up having to sacrifice that one dish than all the other ones go dead and cold, or there's space in the window to consider.
Mm-hmm. No, and I get all of it. Yes,
it's all a drop in execution. I get that.
Yeah,
but it sucks.
It sucks
because the 4 minutes ain't 4 minutes.
It was like 10, and I felt so bad.
I already know the difference.
Yeah. I was like, oh, you killed me right there.
I already know the difference. Also, when you want to cash out from a manager.
Oh,
and he says, give me 5 minutes.
That might be 30.
It might be. I've dealt with the 30.
Oh yeah, we already know who we could throw out a name, but we're not.
We can throw out a name, but we're not. And it's rough because you're hung in on that 5 minutes and you're looking at him. What are you doing?
Yo.
I can see you. And you're walking around talking to people.
Give me your card.
Oh my gosh. And you're just like falling around like a puppy dog. Not even like a puppy dog. Like a lion going like a lion trainer.
About to get their prey.
I'm about to kill you.
Yeah, man.
I need to leave. And you're like, look at this guy. He's teasing me right now.
Oh, he's murdering
You're like
me.
hiding in the grass, trying not to be like conspicuous.
He's about to pounce on the gazelle.
Yeah, and you're like, look at him. Just standing there. He's like twirling his keys too.
Yeah, you're right.
And then he comes this way and he walks by the computer and you're like,
what just happened?
you pop up like, remember me?
Look at me, look at me.
Oh, you ready to go?
Oh my God.
Of course I'm ready to go.
I've been ready.
Been ready. Born ready.
ready.
And service bar always feels like forever. They never quote your time.
Yeah, they
just
don't.
feels it's never fast enough.
It ain't never fast enough. I mean, and even when, well, we know a couple service bartenders that were super ninja. Yeah, super ninja. Okay, like you would think you had to wait, and your ticket be sitting there almost
like,
dying.
Surprise.
Like you thought you could make it. Like there was a point, man. I had to run to the service bar just to see.
Like a modification
Yes,
or whatever
something,
like that.
Or you want to change the liquor or something, like they want a special kind of liquor.
Some kind of instructions you got to tell them.
Yeah.
And you go up there, you're like, what the? How fast was that? I was only gone a minute.
That's my linear time. That's my linear time bartender right there. We love him.
Oh. For the ace service bartenders.
Yes.
Put up drinks too quick. God bless you.
God bless
I'd rather too quick than not quick
enough. I'll take it.
I'll drink it.
It never existed.
Is there, help me if you're Indian, Spanish, black, but like ethnic. How does time, it comes to.
How does your time dwell? And even the people that are on he said they're on the linear time. Do you have any instances that maybe that we're wrong with that as well? We'd like to hear in the comments and stuff like that. Yeah, let us know.
Yes, let us know about your time culture warpage. Leave us a comment or email me, themodernwaiter@gmail.com, or follow me on Instagram at The Modern Waiter Podcast. I'm Marlon Joseph, The Modern Waiter.
I'm Danny Villain. Subscribe, people.
We will see you next week.
Later.
Time for me and you. Spend time, it's just us two.